You are now watching Cherry Coke with Coach.
Hey, welcome to episode 14 of Cherry Coke with Coach. 14's right?
Sounds right.
That's all right, 14. Like, follow, share on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you for those loyal subscribers, those loyal listeners. Keep coming back, tell people about Cherry Coke with Coach. It was a slow week. I think it was our first slow week in a while. I don't have that many shout outs. First one's to the class of 2024. I think we shouted out last week, but again, shout out to them graduating. Time to move on to either college, trade school, military, workforce, whatever you're going to do. Do great. Merced Ramirez got 6th at state in tennis. So she got a medal. I think top 8. I think that's usually their go-to for medaling. So congratulations to Merced. And then also I've noticed Casey's soft serve ice cream. Shout out to that. I mean, just the ease of going into a Casey's and making my own cone and paying my $1.39, $79, whatever it is, and walking out. It's just, it'll go to our top 5 list. I don't think I have ice cream on there, but when they start firing up their ice cream machines again at Casey's, I'm a pretty happy guy. And I think I went to Waterloo Sunday for my Aunt Janie's 90th birthday party.
Shout out Aunt Jean.
I swung by on the way there and got myself a soft serve, and then I swung by Casey's and I got gas on the way home, and I was like, I'm gonna treat myself again. So I had
Just staring at you.
Two soft serve ice creams yesterday, but they're both amazing. And I think the cone's probably the best part. But that's all the shout outs I have. Kip, week 1 of the summer about to begin. How are we
Technically,
doing?
Technically it's week 1 of summer.
Well, school's done, so
School's officially over. The junior high kids are out of my hair for a little bit.
some of them.
Some of them. Then about 10, 11 of them I get to see every day for baseball. So, baseball's going strong. Results-wise, we're hit a little bit of a bump, but we're learning. So the good stuff that'll take us into the future. It's kind of nice to not have to be up at 6 a.m. every morning and just deal with some kids that we're getting on the nerves late in the day. So take advantage of the Memorial Day weekend. It's a long weekend with nothing going on. So
When you get to 170, 180 days with the same kids, sometimes a couple of them we just...
Sometimes I see them twice. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I just got 400 times a year.
Yep.
So, yeah, nice slow down. Well, mostly for you with baseball.
Yeah, we have 10. Well, we'll get to it and talk baseball.
Yeah, we'll get there. I think we got softball here first, and then we'll hop on some baseball. So softball, their season started last week before, I guess. They lost their first 4 games. Lost a close one at Essex, 6-7. I think that was a walk-off scenario. They play a doubleheader against LC on the 28th. The 29th they play at Clarenda. And then 5:30 they have a game with Shenandoah here in town. Top performers for the Lady Tigers on the diamond are Jaden Lindsay. She's batting .333, 3 for 9 with 2 RBIs. Tori Went, she has 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and a double. And then Josie McCunn, she has 19 Ks and 16.2 innings pitched. So a couple of highlights for a team struggling a little bit, but I know Coach Wigg and Coach Ruskell, they're trying to find ways to turn that thing around. Kind of a slow program in recent years, hasn't it been? They haven't had a lot of success, but I mean, there's here and there sprinkling of success. So
Yep, they're building. You can tell them.
Oh yeah, the youth programs. You can see a lot of girls out there playing. When I walk my dog 30 times a day, I walk by the diamonds, and there's always girls out there playing. So just got to keep grinding, get through these tougher times, and
Yep, you got some young guys, young girls, gals playing. Then at the same time, you got some seniors that can kind of carry the load, so there's not too much pressure on those younger kids to maybe produce or get them acclimated to the varsity level. So you see that in baseball. We've been fortunate to have some seniors carry the load while our younger people get acclimated until they're ready.
I know me and Tristan were talking about it in his office, Tristan, Coach Johnson, just the aspect of kids. It's their senior year. I want to work before college. I'm not going to play sports in college. Why play baseball for the last year? Oh well, it's the summer. I need to work. I'm 14. I can finally work. Like things like that. It's just baseball doesn't take up that much time. I mean, you have some practice time in the morning, and if you play in the afternoon. You can work everybody around here is going to work there. You can work a schedule around that.
Yep.
So it's get out, help your teammates, help your brothers and sisters on the diamond. Participate. I know the girls softball team, they're down numbers right now. I think they're only able to play varsity, I'm assuming.
Yep, just varsity right now.
But let's hope for the future. Coach Wig and Coach Rusk will keep grinding it out, and we'll get those girls over the hump.
Yep, go support them. We got a couple games at home. Then
Yep.
after their games are over, you can come finish up the baseball game. They're not too far apart. You can support both.
Yeah, it's not a long trek. You just hop right past the fairgrounds there, and you're right there to Legion Field. Or do they have a name for the softball diamond, the softball complex there?
I think it's just called the complex.
Tiger Complex. We'll call it Tiger Softball
Athletic
Complex.
complex.
So yeah, Red Oak baseball, on the other hand, they started the season 2-3. Last week they were 1-3 with a win, 12-2 over Sydney. Had a battle with Atlantic. They lost 4-5, and then Creston got some revenge on the Tigers for those 2 games last year that Red Oak was able to pull out. I was looking at that. That was Creston. After that, before the game the other night, was 25-2 in the last 27 against Red Oak. Kind of had Red Oak's number, but those last 2 games were 1-0, 1-0.
Yep. Yeah, we hadn't beat them since.
Amazing games.
We had, I think, since Erickson had been head coach. I don't know if we'd beat them.
Beat them yet. So yeah, I know. I think it was 25 games they went back, something like that. The boys, they had the same schedule as the girls. I'm assuming they're most times it's like this during the summer.
Coming up for this week, yeah.
This week it's the same. So though 5/28, they're at LC for a doubleheader.
We're playing at Iowa Western.
Iowa Western Community College. People won't hear this until after.
I think it's more for you.
5:29 at Clarinda, and then 5:30 will be the rivalry game against Shan. I guess the battle at Atlantic was kind of a rivalry game, as you talked about in the recent past. There's been some not bad blood, but some good rivalry going at each other.
It's kind of just even competition wise. We've been able to win some, they've won some, so.
Just 2 good teams.
And it's kids that see each other in wrestling, see each other in other sports. So.
Track, and oh man, they just see each other all the time.
Yep.
Top performers for baseball: Little Roeder, freshman. He's batting .333, leads the team in batting average. That is. Adam Byers batting .300. Mason Fisher's got 3 RBIs, and then Reese Montgomery, Brody Bond, and Griffin Eubank are all tied with 2 RBIs. Adam Byer, my favorite stat, on base percentage. Adam Byer leads with .588. Reese Montgomery has a .471, and Carson Roeder has a .429. Stolen bases, Hall and Bond are 4 for 4. Roeder's 3 for 3, and that's Cale Hall. And then Brody Bond, Carson Roeder, and then Brett Erickson and Adam Byer are 3 for 4 on stolen bases. On the bump, Brett Erickson has pitched 11.2 innings with 19 Ks and a 3 ERA. Reese Montgomery's pitched 4.1, 11 Ks, 31 and a half. I don't know what I was getting at there. Giving up 3 runs. 3 hits and 3 runs in 4.1 innings. And then they've 8 pitchers, a minimum of 1 inning pitched, which is probably bodes pretty well for the coaches. You guys got 8 guys that can get out there and at least put some pitches across the plate.
Yep.
That's huge for for baseball around these parts.
Yep, that's
that pitching aspect.
Everybody in the starting lineups pitched at least an inning, so it's kind of fine. I mean, no, Brett and Adam are going to be. Adam looked pretty sharp in his first long, pitching time. So then, and Reese has looked good at times. So it's kind of might have our top 2 or 3. It's finding who can be our reliable 4 and 5 and whatnot. So
and the mixing them together. I mean, I'm sure some got a little more speed, some have a little more junk, some have a little more control,
Yep.
And trying to find that that mix and having the kids understand that, hey, we're going to pitch this guy because he throws 80 and you're pitching next because you throw 65, 70, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just going from a kid that throws 6'3" and
yeah,
throwing somebody else out there that's maybe 5'10",
5'10", yeah, you know,
just a little different arm angle, and
Yeah, I'm sure.
Adam's always different, so when he's coming from the left side.
And Reese and Landon, they pretty much just set the ball in the pitcher in the glove, catcher's glove.
And when you look at the pitching staff, they're all coming back next year.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And you still haven't thrown a wild thing yet.
Nope, not yet. He's
got some
kind
arm
of
problems, hasn't he?
had some arm issues, so he's just playing the field right now, and we're working him back. But he's been discussed.
I've seen he's had that arm band thing on his throwing forearm. I know last year he kind of got Blake Sloan is who we're talking about. He'll be all right with me mentioning his name. He could fire it in there. He just needs work on. And last year his control got a little better. I remember watching JV. He was able to pinpoint a few things, but that freshman year he was just throwing wild.
Yeah.
Then he put on some glasses, I think, last year, and it's kind of a whole wild thing situation.
Yeah, he's kind of leaned into it. You could say.
I told him he needs to get the skull and crossbones in the middle of. Yeah, I think he watched the movie to understand what I was referring to.
To give him the best.
But he's played out in right field, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah. So he's played a good right field. Had a outfield assist the other night.
Good.
Of his, I think it was Creston. Caught one and threw a guy out at. Well, he would have thrown the guy out, but I don't think we made the play at home. But
That's
throws
huge.
right
Right?
on the money. So
You guys got. I mean, the cupboard isn't bare. We kind of touched on the baseball team last week, the week before, but the cupboard's not bare of who was playing last year. You got a handful of guys that were playing, and it's good that these other guys are kind of able to fill roles and help out, and they're going to get their bumps. It's kind of like we talk about football, like throwing a kid out there for the first time. Like it's a scary situation being out in your first varsity game. It's probably just the same for baseball. Like
yeah, five of these guys started last year, but they were
spot starters.
your spot starter. You just weren't expected to carry the load. You're in a support role, and now those 5 guys are.
You didn't have that weight on your shoulders of like, hey, you got to get this done. Even though Brett made some pretty big plays and performances last year.
Yep.
Had another no-no. Is it 2 years in a row, the no-no?
I think so. And I think we get them again coming up. So
I don't know. Maybe he won't. You got to give him the call again, don't you?
yeah, we got to get.
I might have to give Coach Erickson a call and say, hey, just let you know, Brett might need to be on the bump again.
Yeah, after 5 varsity games this week, we'll see.
Yeah, that's another load. Because then you got LC. I saw Coach had mentioned in his article with KMA about LC kind of being the top dog. They got knocked off by Shenandoah. I saw the other day.
It was St. Albert's.
St. Albert's, okay, St. Albert's. So I saw an article about St. Albert's. They're kind of high on what they kind of had coming this year too. Is the only a week or two in? Is this conference kind of wading out the way you guys kind of see it? Kind of the guys, the teams that are supposed to be the good ones.
From a distance, just kind of looking maybe nightly at Bound a little bit just to see who's won. It kind of looks like it is. We know LC is going to be good. Harlan's off to a good start. And Creston's off to a good start. We kind of knew they would be good. I think maybe Kemper is taking a little, maybe stumbling a little bit more out the gate than they anticipated, but.
And you're kind of more familiar with Kemper. Other than like Dowling and Valley, or not Dowling, those kind of parochial schools, they kind of have ebb and flow of like, hey, there's kids here right now that are good, and then they kind of go down a little bit.
Yep.
I noticed a lot. You got your traditional ones like a Don Bosco or a Dowling that
Remsen.
always just going to be solid at everything.
Yep.
But you got these other ones that, Fort Dodge, St. Edmunds, they always are good at every few years of basketball, and then you don't see them for 5 years, 6 years.
I think Kemper, that's more other sports. They've usually been pretty consistent with baseball. And I fully expect them by the end of the year. I mean, a bad start for them is they're 2-2. So it's like,
they're the St. Louis Cardinals of the Hawkeye 10.
Yep. So yeah, they'll be competitive. They'll be a tough out in the 2A. districts. They're just kind of, and I think they have 5, 6, 7 seniors, so they probably made their schedule so it looks decently tough and challenging for them. So
Denison was out to
I
get
mean, Des Moines Christian, Woodbury Central, they're willing to travel. Coon Rapids was like a top 5 team in 1A.
Yeah, Trainer's down this year.
The trainer's down a little bit, so we'll play them on Saturday. This coming Saturday, the 1st. So
Trainer.
Yep. So that'll be kind of good measuring stick where we're at in the district wise.
Otherwise,
We'll have Cheyenne and Clarendon are important this week because they'll be in our district.
Friend is up there still.
Yeah, Denison might be your surprise. They're 4-0.
They've been having a pretty good school year of sports.
Mm-hmm.
The Fink kid for bowling, and then football
Yep.
district champs. And
Well, the Fink kid threw a no-hitter like first game of the year.
really,
So he's throwing a 300 and a no-hitter.
hey, did he
And
go?
won the 400 hurdles. So he's had
he's had a pretty good senior year.
Yep.
Glenwood, I mean, you got the Anderson kid, Creston. They just got a good senior class as well. Lewis Central, you mentioned, we're going to be good. And you got the rest just battling it out down there.
Yep. I know like Shenandoah and Clarendon, I don't think they played a lot of games early, just based on track. That first week didn't schedule much games. I know Clarendon was kind of that way.
So they'll be back heavy.
Going back to their Taden Brown days when Isaac Jones days when they knew those guys were going to be
Yeah, so they got
at state track, so they didn't schedule much early. So.
And I know Shan last year, they were super young on their roster, maybe 1 or 2 seniors.
Mhm.
So they've probably got a team that's kind of hoping to turn a corner as well.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Clarendon's always a rivalry with them. It was one of their losses, and 7-0 against LC is not bad for. I think
Yeah.
that's about first game of the year.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting now. I mean, basically your conference schedule starts firing off now. You only get
Yep.
a handful of non-conference, and then they kind of sprinkle a couple more in
Yeah.
throughout the season.
There's certain dates, so it's
You guys still have the Clear Lake when they come down here.
Clear Lake's in there. East Mills is in there. Who am I thinking of? Southwest Valley. We'll be
You're
in there.
Still able
So
to get a few other games.
some of those
The
are
Trainer on a Saturday. East Mills, Clear Lake, Nottingham
Yeah.
Valley.
Found them at the end, and they're going to come here. So
Good. Well, let the grind of 5 games a week begin.
yep, I think
Kipley's baseball tan's going to be pretty solid. I
Tuesday,
see
yeah.
the watch tan's coming in pretty nice. No, he's not wearing a watch. That is a tan line.
Yeah, Tuesday to Saturday between freshman, JV, and varsity, we have 10 games.
Yeah, we're just looking at the varsity schedule. You add in the
We got a freshman
JV,
doubleheader Tuesday morning.
and then you got your early morning games, which are good. It gets those kids a lot of games, a lot of time on the diamond, and then they also get those freshman games where they play against people their age instead of going
Or
against
closer,
juniors and
yeah.
stuff. Which I hope that I'm sure you coaches do a great job explaining to those sophomores who the JV's been playing pretty well, but you're probably playing against juniors
Yeah.
most nights.
Sophomores and juniors, they saw a curveball at Atlantic and JV that you don't get much of that in the Wibble or
Yeah.
JVA type leagues.
But in 3 years, when they're
Yeah.
playing on under the lights in that second game,
Yep.
they're going to be like, "Hey, I remember those curveballs.
Yep.
I'm not going to duck out of the way because I remember those curveballs. They're not fun. They're not fun. My favorite is a lefty was throwing it and it was going towards their knees.
Wow.
They're just hanging out there. Then all of a sudden, just snaps at them, gets them a little brushback. I don't know. Let's jump to. We'll end with the year in review. Kip came up with a good idea. We're going to kind of discuss Red Oak sports in the review. We're going to hop in quick to the NBA playoffs. We skipped it for the past couple weeks. Yeah, Kip gave me the who gives a crap hands
More
palms
about
up.
You're gonna have to tell me what happened.
If he was one time when we were practicing at Gilbert, a kid gave me palms up and I came unglued because that was just like I just think that's the worst thing for a kid to do because I remember he was like 4th or 5th string and he tried to go in when we were varsity defense and he was in there. I'm like, what are you doing in there? And me, I was just talking normally to him. No, I was screaming. What are you doing in there? And he told me blah blah. I was like, I'll tell you when to go in. And I was like, get out of there. And he gave me palms up, and I just I was like, you got to be kidding me. You don't ever do that to me. But yeah, so palms up to NBA playoffs. The West, it's the Mavs, the 5th seed, versus the Timberwolves, the 3 seed. Mavs are up 3-0 Tuesday night. They'll be playing. So we might have a winner come the time this comes out. And then Monday, which is today, which we're filming, the East, the Celtics play number 1 seed versus the Pacers, the 6th seed. Celtics are up 3-0. Looks like we probably have. No, they won't. The NBA will not let it go 2-4-0. So one of those teams is winning. Is it the Pacers tonight or the Wolves?
I thought I saw
both.
maybe like Halliburton's been kind of injured, so it's not going to be good for the Pacers. And like after last year's, it was Anthony Edwards was ready to take over the league, and
No.
from what I see on Twitter, he's kind of disappeared or been pretty disappointing this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I saw somebody was talking about. Somebody posted something about John Morant, that the NBA was setting up for him to be the next poster child of the league, but he screwed that up, and now it's gonna be Anthony Edwards, and it's like a week later, it's like, who's Anthony Edwards? Like,
Yep.
but
I think Luka's just having a pretty good series too. He had a game winner.
he's a smooth. Those foreigners, I mean, they got this. They just have the basic skills down. Like they can
Yep.
play some basketball. I'm gonna go on record here, obviously, that neither one are going to lose this game. It's going to go at least 3-1. Both teams that are losing in the series will win in Game 4 because the NBA is all about money, and they're going to make money off these. They can't go 4-0. So write that down, mark that, timestamp it, whatever you do on these. So NBA playoffs.
Hey, you forgot to mention the people you always mention.
Yeah, I'm just letting it slide. I saw Bronny was like the 58th pick or something in a mock draft, whatever. He sucks. No, nothing good to say about him this week. Nothing popped off to. Maybe we still have about a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
Maybe something will come up. We have 110 games to go in the Major League Baseball schedule, so don't get too excited here. But the Yankees are number 1 in the AL with 37-18 record. The Phillies number 1 in the NL and Major League Baseball with a 38-16 record, and your Cubbies are just above 500 with a 27-26 record, second in the Central, 3.5 games back of the Brewers. Phillies they got it clicking. I watched some highlights of them the other day. They're just pounding the crap out of the ball like they always have. Pitching's kind of clicking. They're playing well at home. Just everything kind of falling together. But me and Greg Brower talk about it. He's a Phillies fan too, and I can't get too excited with 110 games left.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it was 110 games played, I might be a little more jacked up about
Yeah,
everything.
Braves are within striking distance. 6 games this early, so.
Hey, 6 games. But then the Nationals 13 and a half.
Yeah.
Is there anybody out of it already?
Marlins.
Are 19 games back. Yeah, Marlins are hurting. Rockies 13 and a half. So they might be out. What about American League? Anybody really hurting there? No, Blue Jays 12. That ain't bad. Whoa, White Sox 22. And yeah, White Sox. Maybe next year, White Sox. Now watch in August we'll be doing an episode and we'll be talking about the White Sox playing for a World Series or making the playoffs. We'll say making the playoffs.
Making a run at the wild card.
Anything else good for the cause? Current news, current sports?
I think, spring sports finally wrapped up, so.
I've been watching a lot of Netflix. Watching a documentary on the Boston Marathon bombing. Kind of interesting how they broke it down. It was like 92 hours before they caught the guy. And I forgot all about I remember sitting there watching it. The guy's hiding in the boat under the tarp. I'm like, I remember that. Like, I sit in my basement just watching that and seeing a guy you can see the hand pop up. And it's like, yep, there's the guy.
The movie Patriots Day with Mark Wahlberg is really good.
Yep. So, hasn't been too exciting now that track's over. We have my thank you again to Braden Sifford for my 3-night vacation to Des Moines. I appreciate it. Got to stay at the Embassy Suites, which was super nice and spacious. We might want to look into that for the coaching clinic, even though it's kind of far away, but we can drive over there. But I mean, we can fit 1, 2, 3 guys because one bed per guy and then a pull-out couch. So that's 3 guys per room. and it fit plenty of dudes for our
Social meeting.
Yeah, social club meeting, whatever you want to call it. So, let's go on to the year in review. I figure we just go down the list, go from each sport, take a couple minutes and kind of talk about anything good that happened, and then what they got coming back, and what we know. So don't expect greatness here. We're just kind of shooting from the hip, really.
Yep, we'll try to give some props to people we can think of, but we're not going to hit everybody.
Absolutely not. So we'll start with cross country. Suann and Coach
Adams.
Coach Adams. Why am I drawing a blank there? So boys, Emmanuel Grass returns, a sophomore next year. Went to state, so that'll be good for them. And then they only lost Ty Jenkins, Joshua Lorette, and Bennett Stickland. So they returned Pace Shelley, Emmanuel Grass, Osel Peterson, and Bryce Williams. And then I know coming in as an 8th grader, Hayden Tebrink. Mm-hmm. He's a goofball, but he's a heck of a little runner. So I think that'll be a good addition to the team.
He's been just super competitive, and I know him and Emmanuel they've kept running after track season's been over.
Yeah, I saw him running the bike path. I didn't let my dog attack him. I figured I'd let him run by. I saw Hayden side-eyeing me, so maybe see some push from the boys cross country team next year. Young, but I know we say that about a lot of sports, but that's a good thing that we got young teams coming up, and kids are buying into sports at a younger age. Girls, once again, I know they're young. Working with Coach French, and she always talks highly of the girls team. I think they only lost maybe two seniors. Jillian Hines, Kate Horn, Elaine Kuiper, Maddie Lopez, Marley Perrin, Gabby Smith, Alyssa Stroby, and Lena Walker. Leah Walker. Sorry, Leah. Return for next year, all freshmen and one sophomore. So, like I said, we graduated 2 seniors, Lainey Keppinger and Casey Kells. But yeah, once again, a lot of young girls. Marley Perrin, she's a heck of a little runner. Maddie Lopez, I know she loves running. Walker, she's a good little runner. So I know they're from track. Kate Horn, they're all track runners as well. So hopefully that turns around and still looks up for them. Volleyball. You can tell me and Coach don't run much, so we don't know much about it. But I can tell you Coach Adams and Coach French both were talking highly of the cross-country season next year, and what their plans are.
Yeah, great group of kids that will be fun to coach, I'm sure. And
Yep.
there's always that big, good team atmosphere with cross-country. So.
And two great coaches to, I'm sure, run for. If I was a running guy, I couldn't imagine 2 other people I would like to run for.
Yeah, we're not necessarily built for distance.
No, we're more built for power.
Yeah.
Short distance power.
I'm not built for speed, I'm built for comfort.
So volleyball returns quite a bit. They lost a couple good seniors, but they returned Nicole Bond, Tori Wendt, Alexis Joy, Kennedy DeVries, Jocelyn O'Neill, Carly Jenkins, Marley Gray, and Keely Jones, all with varsity experience. And Siebernecker. I think I wrote down out of those girls, three girls had 20 starts, and 2 girls had 17 starts out of that group of 7-8 girls that played last year. They were 26-13. They lost in the 3A Region 3 Championship to DMC. They return offensively, number 2 and number 3 in assists on their returning for stats. Number 1 and number 2 for kills, and number 1 and through 3 for kill efficiency. On defense, they returned number 1 through 3 on blocks, number 1 through 3 on assists, and number 1 and then number 3 through 6 on digs, and then for serve, number 2 through 6 on aces, and then 1, 2, 4 through 7 on serve efficiency. They finished last year number 20 in 3A and number 77 in the state of Iowa. So I think they got obviously has some big hopes and plans for next year. Finished 4th in the conference behind Lewis Central, Glenwood, and Carroll Kemper. Lewis Central was 10-0, Glenwood was 9-1, and Kemper was 8-2. Red Oak was next at a 6-4. 26 and 13 overall. So, I think they have high hopes for next year. I mean, they got a lot coming back. I know a lot of these girls, I think their number one sport is volleyball. But a lot of them do play numerous sports. I know Went and Joint, they both play softball. O'Neill, Jenkins, they're track runners. Bond, wrestler.
Siebenecker and Johnson are basketball.
Players. Jones is a track until she got hurt. So there's some athletes. There's some athletes that can join them that weren't on varsity life. That's the perk Coach Montgomery has. She has a freshman JV and a varsity team, pretty much.
So that's what I was going to mention is they got a pretty good freshman group coming up. They lose Merced, but Marielle and the freshmen, they've played together a lot. Keeley kind of got pulled up this year. Played some, but you're almost going to have to be even deeper because now you're going to have this sophomore class that's able to push them in practice and add even more depth to a team that was already going to have a bunch.
Looking at their heights, I think that's the only thing that they're kind of lacking is the height. I don't know how much that contributes to volleyball. I'm sure you need a couple of tall girls to protect the net.
It doesn't hurt if you have a 16-year-old.
But I mean, if you're able to play the net at 5'9", like Marley or it's Kennedy 5'7",
Jocelyn.
You should be just fine. Then, Jocelyn and Carly, they're 5'8" each. So I mean, I gotta remember girls. If you're looking at, there might be one or two girls that are over 6 foot, but majority of them are gonna be 5'10", 5'11". So it'll be exciting to see what they do next year. Hopefully, I keep talking about turning this into a football school. We know darn well this is a volleyball school, and that's what we're going to keep pushing and striving for. Because I truly believe that we always say football, but how fall sports do contributes to the school year. So if the girls go on it and play in the state tournament, and everybody gets to miss school because they're going to Cedar Rapids to watch. Or Iowa City now? Iowa City now. That shows my age. It probably hasn't been in Cedar Rapids for 20 years.
It's only been like 1 year, 2 years.
So it's at the Extreme Center where they have most girls and stuff. But anyways, that's going to elevate the school year. Cross country might not have as much of an effect because, do people even know they run in Fort Dodge? But then a football team that makes the playoffs and you get those extra Fridays in the freezing cold and if you play past Halloween, I say you're doing pretty well for yourself. So good luck to the volleyball team. We'll keep you updated throughout the summer what we hear about the volleyball team. Football, I didn't even write any notes. I think me and Coach could probably just go off of memory. Turn three linemen, return 2 receivers, and a quarterback and a running back. So the core of our offense is coming back. Offensively might be a few changes, but really just looking for those 2 linemen and 2 receivers to fill in. We think we found some good replacements at receiver. Returning starters from last year: Adam Byer, running back; Mason Fisher, quarterback; Andrew Johnson, Nolan Perrin, and Jacob Patterson on the line; and then Tyler Myers and Braden Sifford at receiver slots, whatever you want to call them. So really, if you look at it, some pretty good talent. I know Andrew, Nolan, and Jacob have been putting a lot of time in the weight room, be it the Y or here at the school. But Andrew had a 295 bench the other day. Nolan just broke the clean record of 265. Jacob, he's just squatting out of the gym. So
those are 2 sophomores and a junior.
So going to be 2 juniors and a senior. So it's good core line. I don't really want to throw out names of people that battling because I don't want to leave anybody out. But even those positions we said are open. 77 open positions every year. So offensively, got weapons. Got some tall Gig and Dylan Ryberg and Ethan Fouts. They're all 6'4". Put a little more weight on Dylan. He's a freshman, going to be a sophomore, so he's a couple years behind those guys. But just
the other 2 have developed as athletes. You see them as freshmen; they're not the dynamic athletes or
they're
getting to be
where-
dynamic athletes as they are now. So.
They're like Dylan was when he was
Yep.
is now. You know, give Dylan another year or two, and he'll start forming his body into that. That's the tough part about being tall. You know, you have that year or two where you just stretch out and everything's baby giraffe stuff
Yeah.
because you're just dangly and long.
I wouldn't know. I got stuck at 6 foot.
I remember in junior high, I stretched out and I was like, "What are these? Why are my arms hitting my knees?" But yeah, defensively, return Fouts and Gigstead on the D line. Both of them started some. Perrin, he started on the D line. We'll find out where he squeezes in there. We'll need all new linebackers. Whoa, got shut off there. DBs, all we have is Adam coming back. Got Sergio had a little playing experience, and Zaire started, I think, a game. But really, we're looking at fresh defense. But we got some guys that played. Kyler Sandholm, he had some starting experience over there. But it'll be another plug and play situation. Looking at the district, return district, we got the same district again, so our schedule will be exact same, but home and away will be flipped. A lot of the teams in our district kind of graduated, some guys, so it might be a good year to have rebuilt last year to fall into this year. Southwest Valley will be young. Florinda, somehow they'll bring in 5 new linemen that are just ridiculous monsters. Shout out to Coach Hannafin's weight program over there. West Central Valley, sooner or later, West Central Valley is going to flip that script over there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're so close to Des Moines that it's going to be it's going to be a Van Meter situation where they're just going to an ADM where kids are going to be like, I'm going to start going to West Central Valley because they got nice facilities and everything.
Yep.
Trainer should still be good. The Casey kid will be back, the quarterback coach's kid. They got some pieces around him.
Elwood graduates finally, so.
Yep, Mo Val, new coach over at Mo Val. They hired Omaha Burke, one of their assistants. He's coming over to coach Mo Val, but they lost quite a bit. They got a big lineman coming back. Shenandoah will have pretty much a whole new coaching staff, and all new skill players. The Rourke kid's going to be a good quarterback, I think, for him in the future. Only going to be a sophomore, so we'll see what they bring. Avoca, shout out to my boy Danny O'Neill. I know he's listening. Sternberg, going to be good. They lost quite a bit too from last year, so it'll be interesting to see what they have. Still a good program. And then Underwood, good program. Lose a lot, but who knows what they'll have. So
They don't rebuild, they reload.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's a tough district, but really, if you think about it, win 2 and you're in. You know, and then you got a chance. You have a shot. And you're probably going to play one of these teams again because you ain't got that many options to go.
Yeah.
Probably going up to OABCIG or one of those schools up in that district, East Sac, or possibly head over to Central Iowa, Rolling Story, or whoever's those South Hamilton teams like that over there. So I'm sure once again, high hopes. I think we got the guys in line to have a good program, a good season next year.
Do we know when homecoming is?
Mo Val.
Mo Valley?
Yep.
Yep.
9/27. Moving on to the winter, we'll start with basketball, girls basketball. Coach Tristan Johnson, he kind of didn't flip the script, but he it's kind of the same boat as me. They didn't win as many as he would like, but they had kind of turned the program around. They won 5 games. 5-18, 0-10 in the conference. I think that's probably one of his goals for next year is get that elusive conference win. Return a few girls. Not a big roster turnover, but the biggest thing is they're playing a little bit in the off season. They're wanting to get together and play. Lost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seniors, but returned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 underclassmen. So got a core coming in. I know he's talked about they've got a young, I think they're going to be 8th graders
Yep.
that are big into basketball. So getting that to come around will be good. But yeah, it's just like Coach Johnson said, he's trying to turn it day by day. You could see the improvement in fundamentals last year, but we'll see what shakes out for next year.
Yep, I just think the added consistency of a new off season with the same coach,
Yes.
because this will be, well, these past seniors had 4 different head coaches, so
Yeah.
just don't know what to expect. With Coach Johnson, Coach Bruce, Coach French.
Oh yeah.
So then, and it's a young group that he always says how coachable they are and whatnot. So I expect them to keep moving forward. But yeah, they're gonna miss those seniors and just out of sheer numbers and playing time and minutes that went to them. But you got the parts there to step up and
Yeah, you got people to build around. Super Nickers, I mean, she can chuck the ball up there and make some shots. Natalie Johnson's a good go-getter. What else we got on
I think
there?
Ellison Johnson made some big strides kind of down the post
Yeah.
with her game. Got more aggressive.
So we'll be excited to see where they push that to the next level. Boys basketball, another good year. Max DeVries broke a few records. Hunter added to I think he had that 3-point career record that him and Max were kind of tied with. So if you look at what they're losing Max and Hunter, 2 of the best players in school history. Beeson, Menson, Berggren, good solid role players. Bennett Johnson, Peyton Eckernott, 2 big boys that kind of came out there last year to help them. They lose not a lot, but they lose significant. I think it kind of turns into more of a team approach. You know, they're not going to rely on one guy saying, hey, we need this basket. Max step up, Hunter step up. Now they have a group of guys that it's like, all right, we can share the ball a little bit, and teams can't really focus on one guy. I'm guessing Braden Sifford's going to have to take over a bigger role. He can drive the basketball though, man. That's what I always said. With him, just have him take over point, kind of drive and dish, drive and shoot. You know, sometimes he gets a little out of control, but
Yeah. Brett Erickson being healthy will help.
yeah, he'll be back. He didn't get to play at all this year. Reese Montgomery, you know, he's probably the next big name for the basketball program. Freshman, long, been in the weight room, so he's getting bigger. And then they got some Landon Gigstead and Ethan Fouts. I mean, those guys should translate over to the basketball court.
If we're losing a
with
lot
their
of
size.
post minutes with Bennett and Cyrus and Brighton, you might actually get taller,
And you got some
and it's
better.
just you're more developed. And,
Yeah, you got more athletic big guys. Bennett and Peyton, they're kind of just bruisers, and their Cyrus is a bruiser.
Yeah.
He's like the high school version of Dennis Rodman. They can shoot a few threes here and there.
Yeah.
Lil Roeder, I mean, he's going to be a good 2, help at the 1. Brett will be a 2, help at the 1, I'm assuming. Fisher, you know, he can still shoot the rock. So, and I know they got a few young kids coming in the system. Probably not strong enough yet. I know AJ Beeson and Casey Johnson, big basketball guys. So
works
he
pretty
brings. So I mean, it'll be
hard. A
interesting
little
to
bit of
see.
size.
But they got the pieces, like always, like we've been saying about every grade, every sport. We have the pieces. It's just the help around them. Those kids that are around for sports that should be could help in these situations. That's the Peyton Eckernott situation there. Wrestled as a junior, played basketball as a senior. Probably wasn't the best at either one, but was he competitive both? Yeah. And did he have fun? I guarantee he had fun at both.
It's
So.
like, if you can bring up that quality of athlete, then
Yeah.
starters are going against in practice. It makes everybody better. So.
Yep, and I'm sure he was a bully in practice and pushed people around. And
Yeah, probably got to go against Bennett, so he probably had fun doing it.
yeah, so wrestling in the winter, girls wrestling. Nicole Bond's coming back. Amber Ray, Maddie Osheim, the Buyer girl from Griswold will be back. I know, and Kuipers will be back. Paige Buyer, Elena Kuipers. That's all. Joseph McCunn's the only senior. Nicole's a qualifier for state. I can see Amber. Amber's a very athletic girl. Do you know how many junior high girls they had out for wrestling?
Just the one. It
Just
was
the one.
Briley Maurer, but I think she had a pretty good season, and she's super competitive and might not have the success some of these girls had right away, but she'll make them better in the wrestling room, like where that Pot always preaches,
Yep.
and she'll get a lot better just being with them. She's been at practicing and wrestling with them.
So I mean, it just gotta
Fast,
you gotta
so.
keep building the program. You gotta start somewhere. It's only 3 years old,
Yep.
really. And then I did see that they're going to 2 classes now.
Yep.
So that's going to be good for these girls to get some other girls recognized as state champs. Boys wrestling, same room as those girls. Decent year. We're not a team wrestler program here. We're a, I hate to say individual. We don't fill a full roster full of kids, but we should have. Pod didn't put the roster up, but we can do it. Adam Byron back. Should be healthy next year, state qualifier. Kyler Sandholm, 2-time state qualifier. Dayton Gussman, he flipped his season, his sophomore year compared to his freshman year. And I could see him helping with football too.
Yep.
And me and Pod always said, he always makes a comment, a lot of football guys on that list, or wrestling guys on the list. I'm like, yes, we love our wrestlers on defense. Oliver Dykes, Jared Scriver. I mean, they're not the best, but they're practice room guys, and they're trying to get better. Andrew Johnson,
Sergio
Villanueva, well, maybe we get him back out.
Brody Bond came out at the end of the
Brody
year.
Bond, Brody Ostoff.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of guys.
Nolan Perrin.
That could get there. My opinion on wrestling, they might cut too much weight compared to lose weight, but I trust in Pod. He knows what he's doing over there. He's a great wrestling coach and a great person, so he's gonna do the right thing for those guys. But I'm assuming Kyler is gonna make it for a 3rd trip. Adam healthy, we can get him to state. Dayton, if he keeps pushing, I know that's what his love is, wrestling.
Yeah. Jackson Terry.
Jackson Purdue.
Jackson Purdue.
Forgot about those guys. So, yeah, wrestling should have another bright.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can turn
good
their
numbers
fortunes around.
Maybe be able to fill out more weights than in the past.
Yeah, Caleb Ransom, when he gets there.
Yep, because only lost a couple seniors. Joshua, Baz,
That's it. And Josie for
Joseph.
girls. Yeah, I think that's it. Joshua and Baz. Yeah, and then manager
Yep.
Johnson.
Abby.
Abigail. Bowling, girls bowling. Lizzie Bockham. She'll be back for her senior year. She's moving up the list of all-time pins. I think she's like 8th now. Her sister, if we can get her for a full year, she'll be all right. We only lose Claire Edson. Lana Johnson, she's going for her 4th year on the bowling team. Paige Pruitt, she came out last year. She was a good addition. And Alyssa Strobe, she'll be on her 3rd year on the varsity. More girls need to go out. So if you know a girl that just wants to bowl, tell her to go out. But Lizzie Bachman's probably the best shot at making state. She was 4 pins away 2 years ago, and I think right about the 4 pins away last year. Boys bowling, they return a slew of varsity bowlers. Clay Culver from Stanton, he'll be back. And Devin Taylor, he's the other Stanton kid, they'll be both varsity bowlers. Caden Ribby, Cale Hall, Weston Getler, Connor Britton. We're all varsity guys last year. They'll be fighting for the 6 spots. And then also Marcus Torres, Cooper Alexander, Owen Blystone. We're right there pushing for varsity spots as well. And then they have another kid move in. He's transferred to Stanton to come bowl here. This is probably the best year. They got Cale Hall and Clay Culver and Devin Taylor are really good bowlers. They're sitting there averaging. Oh, there goes Cooper.
Does that mean anything?
Yeah, that's good. Clay's got a 175. Connor Britton's a 170. So they get those scores up a little bit more. Kale's about a 162 average, so they get those scores up about 10 more pins. They're looking at opportunities to win some meets, win some competitions next year. So, boys bowling team has a really good shot at some individuals making a run next year. Where are we at? Spring soccer, girls soccer. They got 2 JV wins this past season. So we returned quite a few girls. Probably be looking, you won't even need to pull it up. I know Morelli was excited for next year. But they'll probably still be JV, I'm assuming. But hey, the program's got to start somewhere. It's got to keep pushing forward.
Yep.
Boys soccer.
2 wins could hopefully be a good springboard.
Yep. I'm not going to
Good
promise
section.
any food for wins or anything next year. Maybe I'll say 3 wins and I'll get you a steak dinner.
Yeah.
Boys soccer team, they didn't get a win. First year varsity though. Had a good last game in districts against Creston. I think they only lost 2-0. So a good solid battle there. A lot of kids are excited about the future of the soccer team, so that'll be fun to see where they go in the future in their second year of varsity. Tennis, boys tennis. Do we have anything special for boys tennis? Any
Lose a
young
little
guys?
bit, decent amount coming back. They lose Max and Griffin, and Connor Knight and Joshua. They bring back Jacob Brower, Landon Gigstad, Mino Grass, Jackson Purdue Youth and Strength, Bryce Williams. That's another sport Brett has been out for in the past and been decently high up on their varsity roster. And so, yeah, there's some potential, but Max is just about a 4-year starter at number 1, and Joshua's been on varsity for a long time. So
there's going to be young guys stepping up now.
yeah, I think E-Man's pretty good, but maybe with his injury, he didn't get the time.
Yep, because he had that fractured foot.
Yep, so.
Needs to stop running so darn much. Girls tennis, like we said, Merced finished 6th in the state, so they're losing a big chunk there. I could see, I think they lose the Wingfield twins. Pretty much all seniors except for Merced's sister and then Sophie Snyder are 2 freshmen. So we need to get girls out for tennis to help that program for next year. Boys,
Wingfields, Johnsons, and Merced, you've heard those names with tennis a lot.
yeah.
So they were all over the varsity rosters the past couple of years. So.
Golf, boys golf, they got Roeder and Kaus. I know they're 2 top end guys for next year. Lost Menson, Hunter Jarrett, Baz. But then you got Roeder and Kaus coming back next year. Braden Adams, and then Christopher Schonert. So I know Carson and Weston was 1 and Carson was 2, or one or 3. They're both up there in stats for 1 and 3. So they returned some pretty good, 2 good batters, 2 good golfers. So hopefully we can get some help for them next year. Girls golf, that's a bright point spot. I think they returned everybody on the 3rd place team, so they just missed making it to state. I love how it says for boys spring golf, but girls it just says golf. Silly. Return everybody.
Yep.
4 sophomores and 2 juniors. Bryn got qualified for state. Went down there.
11th.
Yep, battled down there in Boone. I talked to my brother. We're at, like I said, my Aunt Janie's 90th birthday party, and I was like, "Why the heck are they golf in Boone?" And he said that they do a drawing for it, or you have to apply for it, and Boone got it that year. It's not the greatest course, but it's an old course, competitive, so it's a good place for it. But
Centrally located.
yeah, she averaged 47.29 on 9 holes, 18-hole average of 92. So it will be they should have a good returning core next year and should be pretty solid. Track, girls track, they returned pretty much everybody as well. Jocelyn will be back for her 3-peat for state track. Brinkley, Salick will be back, hurdles. They returned everybody. Carly, Iris Ogden, she's really pushing toward to make state. Amber Ray's going to be a good push for the team for that kind of stuff. Marley Perrin. They got some distance runners / they don't really have the sprinters. They have like the 400, 800, the long end sprinting. Is this a sprinter, a distance runners? That's what they kind of team is based around, which is perfect for Coach Adams and his cross country background. But yeah, a lot of freshmen. How many juniors do they even have on that team? 1, 2,
think 3.
3 juniors. So I mean, and a lot. Just as
Brinkley,
freshmen.
Iris, and Marley.
Oh, everywhere. Boys track. Bring back Sif. He's going to go for his 3P for state qualifier. Return some good quality guys. Then you get Emmanuel back next year, hopefully from his injury. Hayden Hebring come and help a little bit. We get our dual sporters, get them to figure out what they're doing. But with like Montgomery, Sergio, Ethan Fouts, we should have some pretty good speed guys, and then we can mix those in for the distance medley and sprint medley. Sergio's a good thrower. Dylan Ryberg long. We can get him throwing. Keep working on those 400 hurdles. We'd like to talk about a couple weeks ago. That is probably the worst event, but Dylan he agreed to do it. So, well, biggest thing for these sports is getting those kids out to come help your brothers. Adam Meyer, Tyler Myers, Nolan Perrin. Brett Erickson. Brett has an excuse, but kind of calling you guys out. Come help the track team next year, and honestly, with some of those guys out, there'd be a good shot for us to go win a couple track meets.
Yep.
I mean, especially not downplaying the Griswold meet, but at smaller schools instead of seeing Glenwood and LC and stuff.
Yep.
There's a good shot of us winning that. Because the reason we lose it is we don't have a shuttle hurdle team out there. We don't have a 4x800 team.
Yep.
We don't have a 4x200 team. Like, there's a 4x200 team right there. Brody Bond, Adam Beyer, Brett Erickson, and Tyler Myers.
Yeah,
I think you coached
3 of those guys in SIF did it in junior highs.
So,
all those guys were out in junior high.
I think that'd be pretty cool for their senior year to get in there, but
And it's upperclassmen a
Yeah.
little more physically ready to step in than
when they were young,
bringing up 8th
freshmen.
graders to.
But I completely understand these guys' lives are extremely busy. All those guys are very well decorated in other sports as well. So, not saying they don't do anything, but Sif might want a little help here. But so Sue-Ann, we'll do another great things with that program. So that's kind of our quick. I think we knocked out about 20-minute review of the school year. Kip, you got any final words?
Well, coming into the summer, if you want more success in those sports, you got to do the work in the off season. So kind of, where me and Coach Nordine will be, where Coach Ruskell will be. And I know you guys will have your postseason stuff too, but make sure you step down in the weight room and work out. It's going to feel like a new weight room. Still the same room, same equipment.
A little different.
It's got a little different feel to it. So Coach Ruskell's been working on switching up it, and might just bring a different vibe and see how it goes. But get the work done. We totally realize we're all busy people. So
I think you hit the nail on the head because every sports team we talked about, I think and literally my notes were just what the sports were. We're all about the potential our kids have in these sports, but the one thing, honestly, we're probably lacking is the weight room, is that extra training, and that's that thing to get you over the hump. I always say for football, the work in December makes the memories in November.
Yep.
So put the work in the off season, and that will
just looking at her kind of close rivals. Like you can tell Shan's been in there. You can
tell
Clarenda's been in there. So
they got some units. Well, the state track meet, every single kid that was there, unless they're running a 2-mile, were just jacked, and some of them running the 2-mile were jacked up too. So, well, let's end the night with our morning with our top 5. This week we kind of I was having struggle thinking of one, so we came up with your top 5 summertime food and drinks because we're starting summer here. So what some of this stuff you probably can have all year round.
Yeah,
but it's more summertime related, I guess you'd say. So I'm gonna honorable mention. I'm just gonna throw it out there: hamburgers and hot dogs off the grill. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be there. They're probably on your list, I'm assuming.
No, technically, no.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just throw it out there because hamburgers, hot dogs on the grill. There doesn't say much more to summer than that. My number 5 is Bomb Pops and Ices. those icy pops you can buy at baseball games, like you can buy them the net thing and it's like $1 for 50 of them. Like I could eat all 50 in one, other than the green ones, but I could eat them all in one sitting. So bomb pops or ices.
So growing up at Denison, that was how they got the foul balls back. Was you'd get a free
CMB to
little icy, the ones that are an inch thick, and so you'd get a free like. Otherwise, you'd pay like 25 cents for them, but they just give them out for free.
There was one they gave out a baseball card every time you brought a ball back.
Oh, nice.
This old dude, it was awesome.
It's one place they do like quarters. So you have kids like sprinting around and using quarters. But
big fist fight.
like $2 to get all the foul balls back for the day. It's like, but my honorable mention kind of goes with yours. I just put popsicles in general. But yeah, you think of bomb pops, you think of ices.
Are they ices? Is that what those ice freezies? I don't know what they're ever called.
Everybody knows what we're talking about.
I'm sure somebody's going to text me because every time we have one of these back and forth, somebody texts me and tells me what it is. So we'll get the answer. Or we just Google it. Ice pop.
Flavor ice.
Flavor ice, yeah, that's what they are. Fun pops. Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were.
There we go. Yeah, because I've been having problems posting the pictures on there. I don't know if maybe I should just pay for Riverside.
Yeah.
You know, the $15 a month.
But then my other honorable mention, I'm just gonna put beverages at the golf course.
Oh yeah.
No matter what the beverage is, it just tastes a little bit better when you're out cruising in the golf cart, and usually helps a round go better or worse for either, depending on the beverage. So
I'll tell you when I had the mysterious beverage mishap.
yeah.
It did go down smoother. I mean, so it wasn't bad.
Yep. So then my number 5 is another one you can have all year round, but it just tastes a little bit better out in the heat and summer. The ice cream sandwich. You get them either from a concession stand or maybe at the pool. And I'm thinking your standard just all white vanilla ice cream, and the ones that when they start getting a little soft, they stick to your hands. That kind of. You can throw in your
chocolate on there.
like your Big Bopper M&M ones that you can get at the grocery store, but just your standard ice cream sandwich is my number 5.
Ice cream sandwich. Hey, that's why I put that disclaimer at the beginning, because you can have this stuff all year round and it's still solid. Well, before we go on to number 4, I should throw out there that W Energy drinks, you can have that anytime you want. It's good energy, jitterless energy blend. They come with hydration sticks as well. I do drink it. I'm not going to change the name of the podcast to anything different than Cherry Coke with Coach. But I'll tell you what, that it actually is pretty good, giving you a little bit of energy. I'd say it's a low key pre-workout drink. And then once again, you get these pretty cool shakers with it. I got that design in my gift pack that they sent me. But 30 serving each one costs you about $40 for the month. That'll serve you for a whole month because you only need one a day. And if you go on to dubby.gg and you buy anything, put in the promo code CC with Coach, all capital, 10% off.
Ooh.
If you like other people and you go on there and you find out that there's other promo codes for 35% off and stuff like that, gladly use them, at least we're getting it out there. But, CC with Coach, it'll probably be right about here, right about there. I'm going to make sure I put it right there. You're going to see my editing ability because it's going to be right there. All right, moving on. Number 4, I'm going to go with watermelon.
Solid.
I love, and with a beard, it's not as much fun anymore because it does get all nasty in there. But when I was younger, just eating them out of the rind too. Now I prefer to cut it out and chop it up and eat it with a fork. More specific. What's that word? Cultured, I guess. I need a fork. I might use a knife and fork to eat pizza too.
The beard and me too.
It's like, well, I don't eat soup anymore. Yeah. But number 4, watermelon.
I like the watermelon one. I didn't even think of that, but
big brain activity.
Yeah. So mine is another one you can have all year round, and it's almost more of a specific kind because it just, when I say it, you'll think it'll make sense. A State Fair corn dog. So you can have corn dogs out of the freezer anytime
but
of the
walking
year.
around the State Fair.
But if you're at the State Fair, like you have this pull to get a corn dog, and they're
Yep.
enormous. So
It's the corn dog or the turkey leg.
Yep.
Like you just like that's like you have to beeline right when you
yeah,
get there.
but I just
Have
felt
one
corn
or two.
dogs were more synonymous with summer than a turkey leg.
Yeah.
So State
Oh, yeah.
Fair corn dog is my number 4.
And now you can buy State Fair corn dogs in your local grocery aisles, I think. Number 3, great beverage. It's probably my number 3 beverage behind Cherry Coke and W. Push and punch. But a nice ice cold glass of lemonade. Nothing beats a little lemonade. And in my older age, I used to be really stingent and I would only drink the yellow. Now I drink a little pink lemonade.
Little pink.
But now I'll get into like a strawberry lemonade or a raspberry lemonade. A little extra, not two. No, we're not adding 2 different fruits in there, but
When you go to restaurants, will you like switch it up to lemonades, or do you stay
yeah,
with your?
I'll get it unless I know that they had Coke and then they're gonna put grenadine in that bad boy. Like I just can't turn that down because then they're like, well, all we have is grenadine. I'm like, perfect. Like if you have cherry Coke and then add more grenadine, like I'm down with that too. So lemonade was my number 3.
My number 3 is again synonymous with probably a certain place you're at during the summer, and mine's the funnel cake.
I that crossed my
So
mind.
it's in your local fair maybe more than the state fair, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've got one. at
I'm
State
pretty
Fair.
positive I've never had a funnel cake in the winter,
No.
or in the fall, or in
Yeah.
the spring. Like
Actually, they have funnel cake sticks at the bowling alley in Council Bluffs, and they're like this big, and they come with like this dipping sauce. They're amazing.
Right.
Ben and Johnson found them. They're good. So yeah, but yes, you have to go to a bowling alley in Southwest Iowa
Yep.
to get these.
Otherwise, funnel cake. When I think of funnel cake, I think of the fair. I think of summer, maybe even a baseball game.
Have they put it on a stick yet? A funnel cake on a stick?
That'd be kind of hard.
But I mean, you could probably, it'd be almost like a corn dog.
You almost need like multiple sticks, like
Oh
like
yeah, that's
fan
true.
out,
Yeah.
like a skewer type of thing.
Yeah, the funnel cakes are good, and the more powdered sugar, the better. But oh, I'm just coughing thinking of it. Exactly, but that's the best part. All right, number 2. This might push more into a fall situation, but I feel like it ties to summer and the grilling out aspect and being outside. It's corn on the cob. I mean, if you're an Iowan, corn on the cob, nothing beats corn. When I worked down in North Carolina, we would grill out like once a week because I told them to buy a grill. And I was like, I'll grill out. You guys would bring the food. So like once a week, we were grilling every week. And I had my dad send me corn on the cob and Iowa pork chops. And I made that at work. And they said it's the best pork and corn on the cob ever. They're like, where'd you get this from? I was like, Iowa. Like, this is what we're known for. But they said they never had corn on the cob. Like, they said it was like juicy when they bit into it. And like, they're like, it was sweet. I was like, it's sweet corn. Like, so it was. I was kind of pumped to see somebody from a different region
Yeah,
like truly enjoy.
you can just see their eyes light up and just,
Like, this is amazing. I'm like, Iowa.
Yeah.
So sweet corn's my number 2. Or corn on the cob.
Yep. So my number 2, technically probably could have got thrown in with your honorable mention, but when I think summer, I think brats. So it can kind of be thrown in there with burger and hot dogs, but you can kind of
Yeah, you
maybe
can
it's a
go
concession stand
burgers,
kind of
dogs,
sewering me
brats.
during the winter, but
Yeah.
like you don't get a brat in the winter at games, but like
Can you? That's it. Does
It's
anybody make brat? I mean, I'd probably just too hard to make,
yeah, but
but consistently to make a brat.
yeah, but brats make me think of baseball games at any level, high school.
Oh yeah.
College, pros, and like my dad. If I go home, my dad's grilling like, "You want a brat or a hot dog?" I'm like, obviously a brat. Like,
Now that's what I was gonna ask you.
then you got your flavors. You got your different flavors.
You got the cheddar. You got the ones with like cheddar in there
Yeah.
and stuff. Now that's what I was gonna ask you. When you go home, do you guys usually have hamburgers, hot dogs, and brats, or do you just is brats kind of a
It's just brats and burgers.
every
You know,
you don't even get the hot dogs?
if the grandkids are around now, maybe they might do
Maybe.
it.
See, we always got hamburgers, hot dogs, and then like every third or fourth time, my dad would be like, "Hey, I got brats for one." Like, heck yeah, because me and my dad are really the only two that like brats. My mom doesn't like
Oh,
them.
no.
I don't think. I mean, she'll watch this and call
Brats
me.
are definitely ahead of hot dogs in the Kipley household.
My mom will call me and be like, I do like brats, so I'm going to say she doesn't, but I'll let you know next week if I was wrong. Kyle does, my brother, he's a picky eater. He didn't eat mashed potatoes till he was like 32, so he's missing
You
out.
can get some like a beer brats, some pineapple.
Just the snap. Like when you're biting into a brat and just that
Yeah.
snap you get, it's different.
and even the ones like the Johnsonville ones that kind of have the casing on them.
Yeah.
But then you get like the skinless ones.
Well,
Those are good too.
oh yeah. Well, then Hy-Vee and Fairway both do a good job with their meat counter brats. I remember back in the day, college you get 10 brats for $10, and get a bag of charcoal for $6, and you and your buddies are having a good time. Eight buns for 99 cents or something. Now it's inflation. I saw the other day McDonald's. Since the end of 2019 until like last week, it had gone up like 141% the price of all McDonald's items on average.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But Taco Bell's rolling at like 76%. They ain't budging much. That rat meat stays cheap.
Yeah, shout out Taco Bell.
Thank you, Taco Bell. Ding. So we're on number one. Number one is probably my favorite item. Hands down, no matter what time of year, I'll eat it. If I had one in my house, it'd be trouble. That and a fountain pond machine. But Hawaiian shaved ice. Oh, I could die for some Hawaiian shaved ice. And it's not like a slushy or anything else. It's got to be Hawaiian.
It's not really a popsicle.
No, it's
I
just
thought
that
about
like,
those.
and then the syrup in there. Like, I have like probably 4 of them that I bought. And like one you got to grind when you push a button to make them. But I always end up using all the syrup on one because Jamie loves it really syrupy. But yeah, Hawaiian shaved ice by far the greatest thing. Look at the screen; it's all messed up.
That is weird.
That's what happens over in the STEM Center. Yeah, Hawaiian shaved ice. But I stick with usually cherry or grape. And every once in a while I'll go with tiger blood.
So do you have like, are you loyal to like certain brands of it? There's like
No.
Tropical Snow, there's,
No, they're all
what do we have here in Red Oak?
Kona. Is it Kona Ice?
Can't think of it.
But no, I don't
Someone
have
by
any
Burger
loyalty
King,
to any of them.
Some kind of ice or.
They're all good. They're all Hawaiian.
Didn't know if you had a, yeah, now looking at one makes me kind of hungry for one.
I might swing by and know that they're open.
Denison, when growing up, would have the Tropical Snow. Like,
Yeah, we had the tropical snow.
so they'd have all kinds of different ones. That,
right by the pool parking lot.
Yep.
Get all the kids every time. So, Kip, number one.
So my number one has already been said, and it kind of makes it better when you have to husk it yourself. And sit on my dad would get the water boiling, and I'd be out there husking the sweet corn. So you just,
You ever grill it?
I don't think so.
I've
Maybe
tried
once,
it.
but I don't really remember it. But
I've tried it with the husk and on the grill, but
yeah,
I don't think it tastes the same. You gotta boil it. You gotta boil it.
yeah, you gotta boil it, you gotta husk it, and you gotta lather it with butter.
Oh yeah, and then salt.
I'm not a,
Spit and salt.
I'm a salt guy. I just you put enough butter on it.
You just let. They need to make a knife perfectly for the butter. They do. God, I'd never seen it before until I was out in New York. They had my mother-in-law had one. You put a stick of butter in there, and it's like a half horseshoe, and you slide it up, and that is perfect for a thing. They gave me one of them, so I have one now. Now that I think of it, I do have a butterer. And then do you guys have the corn thing?
Oh
to
yeah,
stick at the end?
is that our actual other corn
Yep,
cobs?
yeah.
Yep.
We have those. The double prong.
Yep, double prong little corn cobs, and then my family would just share like the butter.
Yeah.
So it was just
Oh, yeah.
you pass the butter around, and then you just twirl it on the full stick of butter, and so it just looks flat. And like, yep, we've had corn on the cob lately, looking at the butter. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like you're double dipping or anything.
No.
You know, it's all in the twirl.
Yeah,
But now the best part would be if you all pass your ear cord over to mom, and mom twirls for everybody. She just knows exactly how much Josh wants on there.
no, yeah, they'd be doing it. I'm just laughing, like, hey, that's enough. I'm like, a couple more turns.
I'll tell you when it's enough.
So, are you a typewriter, or are you like?
I always work the end, and then I'll start working back and forth because I hated using the things. I was that tough guy that I didn't need the prongs, so I was like, all hot.
Yeah.
So I'd get some finger points and then a typewriter. You?
I was a typewriter guy.
Typewriter.
And sometimes I don't know why, I'd just like,
Start going out of place.
go spiral just to switch it up.
You're not some insane guy that kind of does a zigzag and weird
No,
designs or anything.
yeah, otherwise it's, because then if, got real hungry and just in the,
Jamie, sad for her, she probably could. She's had some teeth replaced, like some caps, so not full teeth, but she's always scared she's gonna break a tooth eating corn on the cob, so she always cuts it off. Which, don't get me wrong, have you ever cut corn off the cob and ate it?
my parents would like make it and then freeze it so they
Yeah.
could have it, some
It's-
fresh sweet corn in the winter.
It's still good.
Yep.
It's still good. It's still solid.
Still need butter in the winter though too, so.
Oh, yeah. Nothing beats some butter.
Yep.
Now, are you a real stick of butter? I always had like, I can't believe it's not butter. Jamie hates it. I still use it. She'll buy sticks of butter, but I have to have my tub of I can't believe it's not butter. Because it just,
Growing up, we were always sticks. Now that I'm a bachelor living on my own, I go tub.
because I always forget to leave a stick out. And then next thing you know, I don't have any butter, and I'm trying to use frozen butter from the fridge. I'm like, it's not spreading on my toast.
Or you gotta put it in the microwave to melt it a little bit, and then it gets too melted.
Yeah. There's no way to melt it perfectly.
Yeah, and there's butter everywhere.
So, well, another episode down, another week down. Coach, good luck this week in baseball.
Thank you.
Next week we should have a nice guest and maybe some news for the upcoming episodes. So, thank you again. Roll Tigers.